The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the New Media Factory. Some programs on this network might include strong images and language and may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Would you come if I asked you to ride with me on this one-way road that leads? Oh, I don't know, but I will take you anywhere you see. I know what you need, and what you got is exactly what I.
Good evening and welcome to Counterflow. We're live here at the Beyond the Box, which is in Rockwell, One Rockwell. We're on nmfnetwork.tv. My name is James Deacon. With me tonight, a very special co-host,
Woohoo!
Angelo Rivero.
Angelo, no, it's Angel Rivero.
Yeah. Angel
Hello.
Rivero. And of course,
Pacho Blanco.
we couldn't find anyone else on short notice, so Pacho had to fill in for himself. Tonight, we're going to be live until about 8:44, something like that. Anyway,
Yeah.
we would love to take your questions. We'd love to also interact with you guys. We have a brand new number. It's 478-7954.
That's right.
Are you
Thank
sure
you.
about that?
Angel, are we sure about that? It's
Yes.
478-7954.
That is right. 478-7954.
Or you can also interact with us over the Counterflow page on Facebook, or you can go to any one of our individual pages, except Pacho's, because he doesn't check his.
Yeah, I don't.
He
You
doesn't.
don't?
He doesn't check his. No.
Oh, my.
He still pokes people on Facebook. Who pokes people?
Can you still do that? Like
Apparently.
poke?
How can you do that?
Oh, come on. Oh.
Oh.
You know, like remember last week we were talking about the a few weeks ago about the picture on the fish pond. And, man,
On the fish pond?
I found out that picture only after you told me.
Oh, the
What
Yeah.
picture?
I know. This still is a car show. You haven't tuned into the wrong station. He occasionally talks about fish ponds. It's his latest thing. He built a fish pond in his house. He's very proud of it.
Okay.
He put a turbo into the
Water pump.
Water pump.
And the-
and
what?
now the thing is like a waterfall. It's like jets streaming. Fish are flying out. But you know, he can't. This
I
guy.
love
This
it.
guy tunes everything. He tunes everything. His kettle, his blenders. He
Yeah.
cannot
Awesome.
leave anything stock.
Yeah.
Nice.
Actually, I was able to increase the boost in the turbo broiler of my wife.
And the chickens now, like that. Come on.
Yeah.
He just puts it in. Bang.
Very
they're out.
quick. No, just kidding though.
Angel Rivero also writes for the Philippine Star as well, the motoring section, and C Magazine, and anything else that we missed?
That's pretty much it for
Okay,
as far
for the
as
motoring.
writing is concerned. Yeah, for motoring.
As far as motoring is concerned. So basically, we'll be taking you all the way through till for the next 44 minutes or so.
Precise,
to make way
44.
because we
Like, that was, like,
because
more
we
than
have to
1
make way
minute.
for ads we don't have.
Okay.
And that's important because
Very.
otherwise we get used to eating up on the time, and then when that one advertiser decides to finally sponsor us, we're not used to it. So you know.
Right. So we must pretend.
We must. Okay. Motoring. This week we've had a pretty big week. Actually, I'm just saying that by impulse because we only really had one launch.
Yes, the B class.
You were there. Okay. That is Mercedes's.
Latest.
Okay. Basically, a B class is it's their basic. It's like an MPV. Smaller than. It's a bit more versatile than the C class, but it's. You've seen it, right?
No, I
It's not tunable,
I
that's why
haven't
it
seen
has
that
it.
one though.
It's only 3 doors down from Auto Plus, but yeah.
I know.
So it's like a. I wouldn't describe it as it's like an overgrown Jazz, but that's a very disrespectful way of describing Mercedes. But it's a big sort of Jazz.
It
like
does
that.
have that sort of contour.
There
to
you
it.
go.
Yes.
That's what I was going for, and it looks great.
What engine comes with?
That's a very good question. I arrived late, so I'm going to pass the floor to Angel.
Wait.
It's a problem with live podcasts, right? They come with a variety of turbo engines.
We were talking a while ago about, like we used to talk like we were in the radio and stuff like that. And then now with the camera, it's a lot different, no? Because before we used to be like,
Yeah.
Yeah, you can make all the cues.
yeah, and then you go like, right now we cannot do those.
And the other one is when Pacho gets bored and he starts angry birding. It's like, Pacho, they can see you, huh? Now? Oh, sorry, like that.
I go like,
high score. Okay, so the B class was launched in CATS last week. Also, a topic that if you don't mind, I just want to start off with because I think it's something close to my heart. It is the new Alternatives Fuel Bill or Incentive Act, I should call it, SB 2856. It is a very, very important bill that has been passed in. When I say passed, it was approved in this third and final reading in the Senate, which meant it went through the Congress,
Exactly.
3 readings in the Senate. That takes years.
yeah.
And it was passed. That means everybody agrees.
Tama.
So now they need to go to a BICAM,
Okay.
which is where they thrash out the differences between the Senate's version and the Congress version, which are very minor. I
Okay.
mean, very, very minor. But, they have to come up with a common version. Right?
Yeah.
But basically, in principle, they both agree. So BICAM will then decide, okay, well, there's a provision there, for example, it's zero tax, zero excise tax. There's zero VAT. There's
Okay.
also no motor vehicles users charge, which can be significant
Okay.
Yes.
in your registration.
Yeah.
And also there is a provision there for free parking in new establishments.
All right.
And there's also an exemption from coding.
Okay.
Very attractive.
It's a very attractive thing. So BICAM will basically say, okay, listen, maybe the free parking, we can only nominate, let's say, 10 slots per new mall or something like that. And these are the small things. But the problem is, and this is where we need your help, is the BICAM is not pushing through. And today was the last day of Congress.
Why?
today was the
Why?
last
What
day?
Today
happened?
was the last session, and they close, and they go on break now. So that
Okay.
means now they go on election campaign, and we don't see them until June. In June, June 30, a new Congress will sit. If a new Congress sits and this is not passed, it goes back to square one. You basically rip it up and you start again. So
For
another
years.
3 years.
Yes.
And then if that
Oh,
happens
man.
again. So basically,
And then after 3 years, we're gonna have elections again, and then
exactly.
It's all gonna
Because
repeat
it usually
itself.
always comes
Oh,
up to this.
man.
Now, what concerns me is why the BICAM is not pushing through. What's the problem?
Okay.
So I was able to speak to the author himself of the bill. They call it the Recto bill. So Ralph Recto.
Nice.
Yeah, you see, like the way I slipped
You guys
that in.
are like rubbing
amazing.
elbows, huh?
So I said, "Hey,
Okay.
Kuya Ralph." Just
Kuya
texted
Ralph.
him. I poked him on Facebook actually, and he replied. He said, "Pacho, is that you?" I said, "No, it's James." He said, "Pacho's the only one that pokes nowadays." But no, all seriousness. I hope he doesn't see this podcast. Very serious topic now. Ralph Recto, yeah, he actually called me up and we discussed the whole bill, and I said, Senator, I don't understand why it's not pushing through. The reason why I talk to you is it seems perfect. There are no losers here except for the government because they're estimating 1 billion loss in revenue.
Okay.
Without taking into account, though, that there's new industry.
Right.
So, yeah, okay.
exactly.
You're going to say in 9, because it's only 9 years we're looking at. So in
Yeah.
9 years, they're saying we're going to lose 1 billion of revenue in
Worth of parking and taxes.
Well, the parking doesn't bother. That's
that's
up
really
to,
small.
Going to be absorbed by whatever
By the mall.
By the mall.
Okay.
Coding, they don't care. What they're worried about is VAT. That's 12%.
Okay.
Excise tax. That's a high too.
Okay.
So we're looking at about 30% reduction in taxes that they're going to lose, and they're estimating 1 billion. Okay, fine. That's great.
Yeah.
But there's a new industry now that comes in, which
Exactly.
means all these products come in tax-free, raw materials, and who do you think has to assemble these? We are having what's more exciting, Pacho and Angel? It's not so much that you and I can buy a Prius now for 900,000 pesos.
Oh, it's not?
That's one.
Okay.
No, but it
I'm
is.
kidding.
It's
Okay.
Yeah,
It's a
definitely.
very exciting thing. I mean, if you were going to Pacho, okay, great example. I'd like to ask you this because Pacho is notoriously the worst person to ask this question to about. He's into power and all that, right? If you
Okay.
were going to buy a family car or a commuter, daily commuter, and you walked into Toyota and you said, Corolla, Altis, Prius, same price. What would you pick?
Oh, no, definitely the Prius.
The Prius.
Yeah.
Because you're not paying a premium anymore, right?
Exactly.
You see, but with the
Exactly.
taxes,
The problem is, before, you want to help with the environment, you're willing to do that, and then you're being penalized because you want to do that.
Right.
the Prius before was 2.2 million pesos. 2.2. It didn't have a garden around it. It wasn't.
No bathroom.
Huh? No bathrooms.
No.
No bathrooms.
And I thought
Exactly. Now, that was the big Prius. Now, the Prius C is smaller. It started at 1.5.
1.5.
And then with that, they're estimating about 500,000 peso reduction in that because we're talking 30%. Then you got the coding, etc. So the government's worried we're going to lose all this money. But then by importing these raw parts, there's a new group called EVAP. Well, not new, but they are the Electronic Vehicles Association of the Philippines that have
Okay.
been putting together tricycles and jeeps for public utility use that are electric. Now, the problem is the best that they can build a tricycle, electric tricycle, is 300,000 pesos.
Okay, that's the cheapest.
That's the cheapest they can do it, and that's with ADB coming in and helping them out with the subsidies and all that.
But
300 grand.
how can it work out? I mean,
How can it work out? So no tricycle driver is going to say, oh, no, 150,000 for a gasoline tricycle, 300 for a, I'll just go for the gasoline. Most of these guys, sadly, think very short term because
Exactly.
it's hand to mouth.
Right.
Okay, we can't blame the tricycle driver and the jeepney driver. We blame them for everything else, all the other problems of this country, but not
Blame
for
the
this.
government.
yeah.
Because somebody's got to absorb that cost. You're right.
Yes.
And who
Exactly.
better than the people who claim to be the saviors of our universe, which are the government, especially during election campaign.
Yes.
They're always saying, that they need to absorb it because they need to kickstart an industry. By removing that, they can now build that same tricycle for 200,000 pesos. That's only 50,000 difference.
Oh, you're right.
50,000,
50,000 plus if they had the right amount of financing that they could offer.
which they will.
Okay.
On top of that, remember our guest about the LPG that was going
Yeah,
to finance?
yeah.
He can benefit from that too.
I'm been working together with them and
That
everything.
guy
It's
will now
awesome.
be able to sell his tricycles for 30% less because the tax is gone. Because LPG, CNG, solar, wind, and also electric and hybrids are exempt.
Yeah.
And then maybe we can finally convince these people, these drivers of the jeepneys and tricycles, to finally make that shift.
It just comes down to dollars and cents, or pesos, basically pesos. I mean, you got to feed your family. You'd be thinking, okay, I want to save the earth, but I got to feed my kid
Exactly.
first, all right? Nobody begrudges you that. That's why we need something bigger, like a government, to say, clean air doesn't come cheap. It doesn't come free. Somebody's got to kick in and say, I'm going to help fund this. Because if they fund this, that 50,000 premium that the tricycle will pay, he's probably going to get that back in about 6 to 8 months in savings alone. Fuel savings.
in
So his
fuel
ROI is about that. In a taxi, he probably gets that back in 2 months. A bus, an hour. You see the ROI will come back in the savings.
Right.
Now, the more that they make, the cheaper they become. We all know that. I remember paying
Yeah, because of the demand and
$900
everything.
for my first cell phone. It
wow.
was bigger than this couch. It really was. No, but that's what they were when the first cell phones came out. They're bag phones and stuff. They're like $800-900.
The first SUV. The first flash memory card.
Exactly. Good example.
That one just not even 1 gigabyte, and it was like a 15,000 pesos.
The first one I got was a
wow.
128 MB. And I remember, I'll never forget, my brother gave it to me and he said, because we had just come from floppy disks, right? He said, this is a USB. Don't drop it. It can store 128 MB. Do you know what that's like? He said, you can store, I don't know, he gave me a stupid figure of documents and up to like 7 songs or something like that. And I remember going, and he said, basically the thing is smarter than you, so don't drop it. And now, oh my gosh, every press kit, they give you a 4 gigabyte thing, It's like,
Yeah, exactly.
like
Just a
nothing. It's
giveaway.
cheaper than CDs. That's what's going to happen with electric vehicles when we get the economies of scale in. Now, they'll say if we bring these economies of scale down, we can effectively build Jeeps for the same price as their gasoline diesel counterparts.
Yeah.
Tricycles the same, buses the same. And this is where even if none of us decide to buy a hybrid for whatever reason, at least our public transportation will be clean and green.
Exactly. And there's like this whole new world above that, because if people start you going electric or for cleaner air, what's going to happen is maybe there will be less respiratory disease.
Absolutely. All right. I can't give you the figure right now off the top of my head because it's very hard to pronounce. I can give you the figures, but it's the actual definition of it. They tested EDSA last year. This is local testing, DENR. So Environment Department, they checked EDSA and they did a random check. They registered I forget what they call it, but it's basically particles per square million.
Yeah, there is
right?
that
Okay,
sort
that
of
thing?
unit. Yeah.
280 was EDSA. The maximum limit or legal limit normally is 90.
So it's
So we're
like,
talking over 3 times. Then people are getting respiratory illness. Some people will argue, and it's a valid argument too, that hybrids are not zero emission. They're
Yes.
not carbon neutral. I
Yeah.
understand that. They say, oh, it also takes energy and pollution to make these things. You know what? True. Yes and no. Because one, the studies have shown, the real studies, because there was this urban hoax out there. No, there really was. There was a really nasty guy, a guy who released a paper saying that the Hummer, the Prius releases more carbon dioxide than the Hummer. Because when you go through the whole process of making a
making
Prius.
the battery and all
yeah,
that.
the nickel and then the nickel
then the
mining.
disposal pa.
And exactly. But it was all proven to be a fraud. Basically, it's still much better from zero to grave, from cradle to grave, in an electric vehicle or hybrid. It's still less carbon footprint by far. Okay, but let's just even say, for argument's sake, to entertain the doubters out there,
It's the same.
They're the same. You still have the benefit to choose where you want to put that pollution. There's some value to that.
Not only that, you're generating jobs, you're generating a new industry, you're generating, and then, as you're saying, the more development start to happen, it's going to be cleaner and cleaner to produce that kind of
Exactly.
vehicles.
I agree. It will improve.
It will improve.
The
And the
technology.
worst case scenario, and like Philippines, we don't produce the cleanest energy, right? So, okay, fine. You say it's going to do the same carbon footprint, but you can now choose and you can say, okay, let's decongest the city and let's put that pollution in the Senate or Congress. I'm just saying you can choose it. Or you can put it in the Spratlys and maybe the Chinese won't find it anymore, right? They can't see it. Oh, no, it'll look familiar to them because, have you been to Beijing?
Beijing,
like-
I hear.
I think by now we have a hole in the ozone layer right in top of Auto Plus.
Oh, yeah. It's got branding too. It has a logo.
Yes,
the whole
yes,
has a
it
logo,
does,
and it's in the shape of the Auto Plus logo. But there you go. It's a bill that I feel very strongly about because I really have studied it long enough to know that I can't see any downside to this. I can't see any losers in this. Really, how can you? I mean, at the end of the day, if you don't want to buy a hybrid, don't buy one. Who cares? But that's your choice. But it's giving you an incentive to. No coding, free parking, 30% practically off, no taxes, no vehicle charges, extra charges in your registration, priority in your registration, priority if you want to license a public utility line, like you get a franchise, priority. It's just, come on, imagine EDSA without that clatter of diesel engine and smoke and the noise pollution.
Yeah,
from
the noise
tricycle.
pollution
The noise
on
pollution.
top of the air pollution.
Exactly. It's deafening sometimes. Sometimes especially I ride bicycles sometimes. I go around the metro and I come back, aside from coughing and wheezing and thinking, I don't think I did anything good for my body there. The noise. The noise is
noise.
deafening.
Yeah, the noise is really, really bad in EDSA, everything, But like you guys were saying, and then I totally agree on that. If you're gonna talk to a jeepney driver, you're gonna talk to a tricycle driver, and you're gonna say, no, you have to transfer from this to this because we care about the environment, and you have to spend this much. even if he can recover the money and you present and everything. What he's gonna say? Yeah, you care about the environment. I care about my family.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then
I agree.
the thing is, okay, like I was putting an example. For me, somebody goes here and say, Pacho, I can sell you a Lamborghini for 5 million.
In a bottle?
And then
A Lamborghini in a bottle? Sorry.
or a Ferrari or whatever, a supercar. It's honestly extremely cheap, yet I cannot afford it. So
Yeah.
even the same thing with them, you can say, no, it makes sense but they cannot put out that amount of money.
Yeah, relative to their lifestyle.
Exactly. It's impossible. It's really impossible.
And it's perfectly understandable. That's why somebody, like I said before, has to take the first hit.
Government.
Government. But if you want to help, there is a way to help. You can sign a petition. We've started a petition here that we're going to circulate. Angel doesn't know it yet, but she's promised to post it up on her website. Pacho's going to do the same, although he doesn't know it as well. It's basically if we get enough, all
so like
people.
electronic signatures.
Yeah,
Like what?
you have to put it's a petition. It's a proper petition, and you have to put your electronic signature by just filling out your name. It's not like just clicking like. I mean, we actually tag a proper.
But that is easier, just clicking a like.
It is, but then it's hollow,
why can't
right?
it just be
It's
like-
hollow because then that rent-a-crowd that you have that download all our podcasts, they can just click it. It doesn't work. We want real change.
All right.
We want real change, and the real
Change
change
the
comes from
world.
every single signature in this petition. That if you go to my Facebook, which is just James Deacon, just look for James Deacon, or you can just james.deacon@facebook.com. That's an address now.
Yes.
Yeah. So you can, if you can't remember, just send it www. That's not www. James.deacon@facebook.com. That's an email address. You can add me up and then just look for the petition and just sign it. Please sign it.
Right.
That's my homily. Please
And
stand up.
basically, the petition says what? Reconsider.
Well, you see, all right, reconsider because good point, Angel. I didn't bring up that in June, before the new Congress sits in June 30, I specifically asked Senator Recto this and Senator Zubiri this before we went to print. I said, is there still a chance, or are we just screaming into the abyss? Because, I mean, I wouldn't waste a whole podcast and a whole article and a whole this if there was nothing we could do about it.
Yeah.
But there is. The thing is, before June 30, there are 3 sessions that they have an opportunity to do a BICAM before new Congress sits.
So, pwede pa.
Pwede pa. 3.
Okay.
3 opportunities. If we can get enough signatures by June,
Okay.
and we forward this to the right people. Remember, this is all documented. This is not, like I said, it's not a Facebook-like contest. It's a proper, documented petition, right, from change.org. And these guys have changed a lot of things, and they managed to win a lot of campaigns and stuff like that. So we can do this, and we can present this to the Senate, to the Department of Finance specifically, which is the one blocking it. They're the guys who literally said, we don't want this to happen.
Okay.
And then urge them to change. Because before the votes come in, that's important. Now, it's like what they say with the Godfather on the eve of his daughter's birthday. You can ask him anything. Same
Okay.
goes for a politician during election time. On the eve of while they're campaigning, they will agree to anything. After that, they won't know who you are, right? But now's the time where we have power. So in the election time, we can say, no, you're not getting our vote until this is passed. Take a stand, because there's something that you can actually positively do here and leave a legacy behind and change it for the future.
Definitely,
Because
yeah.
I believe the children. What? What do you think I was going to say?
Our future.
I think I've hammered in the point enough. You want to say anything more about it before we talk about
How can we stream this one?
Talk about Pacho's big ozone depleting V8s that he's tested.
Oh no!
This is an electrical vehicle that I was able to test.
What is it? Like a truck?
It's a delivery. It's a delivery truck. How can we?
Well,
Don't know.
is that locally built?
Yep.
Okay, that's a
Yeah.
picture. All right, there it is. It's up
There
there.
you go.
Okay, we're looking at, if you're listening to the audio version, you can always download this video podcast, and you can see what Pacho's showing is an
And then
electric
there is a
vehicle.
video that we like to show. And then, well, I don't know if I can play it there. Do you got it already? No.
Is this
Yes.
patched? Okay.
Patience is a virtue.
Which one should I use? 1 or 2?
TriCaster 1? All right.
Okay.
Let's go into 1. Whoop.
We're on 2.
Let's go into 1. All right. So this is a video of what, Pacho?
I was doing a dyno testing on this vehicle. And then, you can see, okay, emissions, of course, is 0. They
So
claim...
it's 100% electric.
Yeah. They
Plug
claim
in?
Oh,
that
fully.
the battery can last for about 100 kilometers,
And it can travel how fast?
up to 60 kilometers per hour.
Not bad.
Yeah. So we were able to do the testing.
What's the range?
100 kilometers.
100 kilometers. Sorry, is it locally built?
Yes.
Locally designed and assembled. and
Yeah,
built.
there are a local.
How much are we talking about here?
That one, I'm not so sure about it.
All right, because the thing is, with these vehicles that we're that you're trying to show is, it can get expensive. But with the new,
There you
with
go.
the raw materials. Okay, we're watching a video right now of a electric. Is it a tricycle or
No, it's a 4-wheel.
4-wheel vehicle? But like for deliveries and stuff.
Yeah, for deliveries though. And then engine. I mean, everything is on. The battery is there. The one on the right is basically showing the capacity of the battery. Then
Yvtong?
Tong.
Is that the brand name? Yvtong?
yeah, the steering wheel.
Okay. The brand of the steering wheel. The best part about these delivery vans is that being electric, they can also keep the food hot in the back.
Yeah.
Because they have a microwave, right? Or something.
Then yeah, we were doing some testings, and then, well, you basically guys, you don't hear much out of the video. It's because there is really nothing to hear.
Okay. Right.
an electrical.
Quiet.
Okay,
It's
but question.
electric.
Yeah.
Did it beat my Mazda 3?
It did.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Really? As in, like, beat it for the lowest or beat it for the...
Better for the lowest.
Oh, you know, I held the record in Auto Plus for how long? How many years?
Yeah, for about 3-4 years, 5
4 years. I
Of
held the
what?
record of the lowest horsepower car ever tested in Auto Plus.
Yeah.
It was my LPG-powered Mazda 323
There you go, the horsepower.
1995 version.
That's the horsepower, though. Well, sorry. It's there you go. 14 horsepower.
Wow. What was mine?
You're at 25.
25.
Wow, you beat it by.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
creamed
exactly.
it.
So
I toasted that thing.
that's the company that they're doing it, though.
Green Tech.
Yep.
Green Tech Interfills.
Yeah, and then
Incorporated.
I want to show you how the vehicle looks like. It's okay over here. There you go.
Actually, it looks like an MRT,
Yeah, that's what I
right?
was
From
thinking.
afar.
Yes.
I thought it was a
Like
train.
MRT.
Yeah, so
Especially in that environment, right? It looks like it's on rails and stuff like that. Okay.
that's on top of the dyno, though.
I have a question though.
Yeah.
I have no idea if this is true, but I heard from someone that if you register a vehicle in the LTO and it's electric, it has like this special category, and then your registration bill comes out more expensive than
Oh, I don't
a
know about
regular
more
car.
expensive. That's ridiculous. But the
It's silly, but I don't know if it's even true. But that's what I heard.
I haven't heard anything similar to that. But what I've heard is that the new vehicle alternative fuel vehicle incentive act will actually give you priority. It'll give you a green plate as well. So
Oh,
you
nice.
actually get a color green plate, which exempts you from coding. The Corolla that we drive,
Yeah.
I sold him my car a long time ago.
And never got transfer.
He's only just started to talk.
Even if it's fully paid, never got transfer.
Yes,
Oh,
and,
really?
and all the
Yeah.
tickets come to me. Yeah.
So basically, if he runs over someone, they'll make habol you.
Absolutely.
No, actually, all the
Alright.
speeding tickets go to his house.
All my house. I tried to renew my license the other day. Woo! I was running out of the place where the guns fire and everything. You know? There is. So that car is on LPG, but it was on LPG ever since, right? You can actually apply now for a green plate when you re-register the car and put it into your name. Hint, hint. So you can actually say, all right, can I get the LPG, the green plate? And they'll give you one. And that exempts you from coding as well.
Okay.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
you get a green plate and you're exempted. From
Absolutely. All the Priuses, all the hybrids, all the electric vehicles exempt. Only for a while. They'll revisit these things. The tax is set for 9 years. But the rest, they can revisit. Obviously, if everyone has a hybrid, then they might have to revisit the coding thing and the parking thing. But that's
Get
all
something
right.
started.
Get something started. And the
Exactly,
tax, the
you
tax
know.
is the one that's set for 9 years. Because that's important. Because that really needs to, you need to develop something. I mean, Malaysia did it with Proton. Every country did it to protect their own industry. And this is what we're trying to do, create an industry as well as importing the electric cars and hybrids. We're trying to create something.
You know, like, okay, talking about these things, do you guys have an idea? Okay, lately you've been hearing about the turbos and, you know, the turbo diesel cars and the turbos in the cars and everything. And this one sounds kind of new, right? Quite new. Okay, but do you know when was designed the first turbo?
Wait, was it, was it? No, I
It
don't.
was around 1920.
Was it, it wasn't Ferdinand Porsche, was it?
No, there was a company, they designed it and everything. It came out really good, and they tried to come out with it. And then, but did not push through. Why? Because it was way too expensive.
Back in 1929.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. But now, because there is more demand and the technology is there, the materials are there, the machines are there. Now it's so easy to make it.
Absolutely. We have turbo
All right.
chickens now.
Exactly. Like also the fuel injected system. First cars to use it was Formula One, but was just only exclusive for them. Why? Because they are the only ones who have the budget, right?
Absolutely.
But
ABS,
ABS,
airbag,
everything exactly. So
cruise
and-
control, dynamic, active stability control, all of these things.
And unless somebody start to say like, yeah, okay, we're gonna buy these things and everything, you know, and then like I seen people right now, even with the price of the Prius, there are some people that buy the car. And if you have that kind of money to buy a car, believe me, you don't care about the fuel consumption.
No.
You don't care about the fuel prices.
Yes.
It's
But
environment.
it's people that really care about, you know, being environment friendly.
Yeah.
All right, and there's a lot of people that are willing to do that, but why should I get penalized with huge taxes, huge? And then I think that one is going to be the biggest hindrance for you to be able to buy a car. They can actually help the environment.
All right.
Precisely.
I have another thing that I want to put on the table. I think you guys are going to chew on. They just also, what they did pass was the drunk driving and drug law. So basically now, they passed through the Senate and Congress, and it went through its BICAM, from what I understand. It's now passed into law. It is anti-drunk driving and anti-drug driving.
So, does this mean that before, if you were a drunk driver,
It's okay?
It's okay?
Yes, okay, here's the tricky part. I've been campaigning, as you know, for
Yes,
a long, long
very
time
long.
about doing this. And there is a law in the Philippines that states you cannot drive drunk. But it doesn't state what drunk is, because there's no
alcohol
No
level.
way to be able to.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's subjective. So you say
But
he
isn't
was
that
drunk.
scientific?
There is a rule.
There is scientific. It's a blood alcohol level, like
right.
anywhere else.
Yeah.
Isn't there a standard?
But that's the thing. There's no standard. So
And they don't
because
have
there's
how
no
to. I mean, yeah, there is. There is like a loophole there because they have a rule, but they cannot police.
They can't
The
police it because they can't. What define drunk? Any lawyer that went through 1 week of law school will say define drunk, Your Honor. When he was drinking. No, that's not true, because intoxication comes at a certain level. But because they didn't get a reading, and there is no legal reading,
Yeah.
so
Define fast. Define
define
fast.
fast. Exactly. Fast for you, fast for me, fast. We're all different.
It's different. Yeah.
Right? So, good. So I started to, I've been pushing this for a long time. And we even started that service, driver on call, just to, because it wasn't happening. And I was even trying to get the cities to create an ordinance instead, to just fast track it. Just to say, all right, Makati 0.06, Quezon City 0.06, whatever, and then you police it yourselves. That way you don't have to go through Congress and Senate. They finally passed on. I was so happy.
So
I read
now,
it.
what is the definition of drunk?
It's still not there.
What?
It's still not there. I read the entire thing and I said, it's not there. I can't believe they missed this again. So I went through it again, and it says drunk is as determined. There's nothing in that reading, the final version, that I saw that says it's 0.05, 0.06, 0.08, 0.07. There's nothing.
But is there
There is
no
a borderline of alcohol content in the blood. They
no,
can-
there's nothing. So here's two problems I see. One, clever lawyer will say define drunk and get his client off.
Yeah.
A not very nice policeman or an opportunistic policeman will say, lasing ka, lasing ka.
amoy alcohol
Oh,
ka?
amoy ka.
Lasing ka.
Parang nakainom ka na. So all they can say, I think you smell like you're ano. So make you walk in a line. Oh, ano yan? You know what the fine is?
What?
If there's no incident, like no accident or nothing,
Okay.
up to 80,000 pesos
Really?
and 3 months in jail.
Okay,
Can you see
that
the
one-
room for extortion?
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the big problem. I mean, I'm very okay with that.
Sorry to be pessimistic about this, but this is an open.
No,
I think it's a
it is
serious
really
problem.
true. Actually, with I mean that penalty, like up to 80,000 pesos, 3 months in jail. I really agree with that.
I do.
I really agree with that. But the problem is they cannot leave a room for extortion.
And especially when it's subjective.
Exactly.
You know what? If they say, Pacho, it's 0.06 or 0.05 and say, that's it. And you blow in, it's 0.06. Sorry, it's 80,000. 20 to 80.
But is there no international figure, like a border, a limit that's accepted?
Australia goes 0.05. and they're one of the strictest in the world.
Okay, so 0.05 or worse.
Yeah. So
Should
it
be.
basically, if you're anything over 0.05, you're what?
Nah, I think,
Why are you
know,
laughing?
0.05 and maybe the caps are already 0.07. Or
You. I'm talking to you. I'm over here. Ah, yeah, you. 0.05 is the legal limit in Australia. They're one of the strictest in the world. It just means to say that I can probably have a beer and a half, I think, in the first hour. But everything's dependent on body weight. So you, being your body weight, maybe one glass of wine and you're over.
Okay.
I might pacho. Well,
oh my gosh, I
Kaya
can't.
pa.
yeah.
Kaya pa.
A bottle of sangria and he's still okay. But basically,
What is it right now? 0.4, and I already done with 2 liters.
But in Australia, they have in the bars, you blow into, you can go and just put a coin in and stuff, and then you can just check before you drive. You can blow in. They usually put them in either the bathrooms or somewhere near the bar, and you can just blow in to check whether you're over the limit. Now, back to the Philippines. Without this, it leaves so much room for extortion.
Okay.
That worries me a lot because, a guy who has a glass of wine over dinner with his family, and you get this cop saying, I think you're drunk, but we can sort this out for 20 grand by the side of the road. Or you can go down to the precinct and, it's 80 grand and 3 months in jail. I mean, that's wrong. That I don't agree with. So I'm trying to push now if it's still a chance, if there's still room for I don't know when they put the IRR, which is the implementing rules and regulations.
Yeah.
If we can get in before that time, I've already made noise about this, and I think we should make noise. Let's just be clear. We're not saying we're not against the whole act. We support the act. We've been supporting
It's
the
really
act forever.
good. It's really good. But it has
let's
to be done
clarity.
properly.
Nothing.
Complete.
Yes, you cannot have so much subjectivity in this.
So it should be defined.
Defined. None of this field sobriety tests that they're saying. Walk a straight line, get a high score in Angry Birds. I mean, this is all what they're trying to
Yeah,
say.
I know.
You didn't get 5 stars. Lasing ka. It's like,
Walk in a straight line. Oh, do it again, but texting.
so there. I think that's another one we should look at. And if that doesn't happen soon, there'll be another petition we'll be petitioning you for next week. But right now, I think, I think the lawmakers should look at that. Because I just hate to see any kind of abuse. And sadly, when it's like this, it tends to be more funds in the Philippines.
I remember last
That
year
was a pun. I just go on.
No, we got it. We got it.
You got it.
got
It just
We
wasn't
did.
funny. It wasn't.
Corny. But we got it.
Okay.
I was saying that last year, I remember there was a month when I heard that the government actually purchased a lot of breath analyzers for the police,
For the MMDA.
for the MMDA. So do they actually
Yes, they do, but they use it on themselves, and I'm not kidding. That's not a
What?
joke. Yes, we had the attorney Eves here. From
I
the
was just
MMDA.
kidding, but I didn't know it was.
No, he was here when he said that. Because they can't legally. Well, they can legally check you, but then so you blow in 2.5, like yes, high score. I mean, because what? It means nothing without a rule. So they started using it in the MMDA to check each other. And Attorney Eves was sitting on right there when he said that how many people were losing their jobs because they were turning up to work drunk.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
So it was to police their own ranks and make sure that they didn't have drunk officers at the time. And practice makes perfect. And they were able to catch quite a few. Another thing, I don't know if we're getting the nod already, if we're getting the 5 fingers up or no. No, not yet. All right. Okay, we're good. Big thing happening along EDSA. We know.
the bus thing?
No. Pachi, you're going to love this. All right? You're going to love/hate this. They're rehabilitating the entire EDSA.
Yeah.
That.
2 years we're talking about.
Does it have to be like simultaneous the whole stretch of EDSA?
No, not simultaneous. They're doing stretches, but it's going to be like Pasay to Mega Mall. And then Mega Mall to it's basically
Yeah, and the
Prepare
big
for
chunks.
hell.
Okay, first, define rehabilitate. Like
was
really
gonna say
give
define
back
hell.
everything. No.
EDSA. I'll spell it. ED.
No, when you say rehabilitate, like really make give back. All
It's
the-
complete rehab. I mean, this is the 9-step program, or the 12-step, should I say. They are going to dig up everything and replace every square inch supposedly with the highest grade asphalt and mixture.
Yeah, right.
Well, it better, because if it takes 2 years to do so, by their track record, this will end up like the Golden Gate Bridge and the Harbor Bridge, where they,
Yeah.
by the time they paint the end, they got to go and start again.
All over again.
That's going to be EDSA. But they're claiming this is good for 10 years. Every square inch will be done.
So cement and then asphalt
Yes,
over it.
but
Okay.
high grade. And then paint the lanes, etc. Here's the part you're going to love. I read today, and they're going to make elevated bus stops. They listened to us after all those
Finally.
years. We have been saying this since
Finally.
2005 or 2006.
Yeah, somewhere there. Finally. Yeah, because that's the only way to.
Do you know the concept of the
discipline.
elevated bus stop? All
No.
right. Basically, what is happening right now is you can discipline the bus drivers, but if you don't discipline the commuters, it's vice versa, right?
Yes.
So they're the ones, I'm over here, whang! It cuts through. It's all 7 lanes. Bang! But what if that guy cannot physically climb into the bus because the door is up here?
Oh.
He now has to get onto a platform like you do on a train.
Okay.
Right? You can't board
Yeah.
an MRT from anywhere
Then
but the
someone
platform.
can fall off as well.
Let them fall. Let the cards fall where they may. But enough's enough. But the thing
Yeah.
is, you have to outsmart them. So now, the only way you can board a bus is through an elevated bus stop. That
Okay.
forces them to get to the bus stop. We're actually pushing for them to be in the inner lane, meaning by the MRT.
Right.
Yes, something like what we have in Bogota, the Transmillennium. Yeah, it's also there in the middle lane and it's elevated. And that was the only way to do it.
Because that means that there's no other way. They cannot, they have
Unless
to.
they climb it, like Spider-Man.
Yeah, but then they have to now climb over a walkway, and it gets them to the middle lane, and that's where they board the bus. So it just removes all the incentive from, and just makes it damn physically impossible to do it.
Or to even stop anywhere.
Just like the MRT or any train, you cannot hail a train.
Yes.
You cannot unless you're in Shaw, Mega Mall, Kamuning, all these places, right? They have dedicated stops, and you can hail them all you like from the middle of the tracks. Nobody's going to listen to you. And even if the guy stopped and said, "Oi, Mayfair Jan," you can't physically get in. So this is what they have to do to the buses. And finally, I read today that they're going to be doing that.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's a big step. And imagine if we can turn the buses into electric buses, elevated, and then,
Elevated electric buses.
yeah.
Diba? It's
We can call them
all there.
EBS. Sorry. Well, so there. Are
Sounds
you happy?
like, yeah.
Yeah, that
so
sounds
nice.
good though. But I don't understand why the rehab of EDSA is gonna take that long. And where are the cars are gonna pass?
That's the problem. 2 years are looking at rerouting us
my.
to Cebu, maybe. We can Davao. There are nice cities in the Philippines we could all work and live in while it's happening, but that's going to be the problem.
I can take a very long vacation in Colombia.
You'll have to.
Go back home.
You really will.
For the
have-
meantime.
It's going to be, it really will be hell. Okay, this is how bad it's going to be. It's going to be the road equivalent of Globe.
Oh, no.
Ow, that hurt.
So we are
There are times that you will not be able to get
under-
anywhere.
Not anywhere. Missing messages, dropped calls, stuff like that. Yeah.
Receiving messages from
Yeah.
you don't know who.
So basically, yeah, that was low. I'm sorry. Well, we don't have sponsors yet.
No, but you know what?
You just
And we probably won't ever have.
One potential.
Actually, your comment wasn't that bad. What was bad was a reaction.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's my fault.
And not to mention those in the outside.
Yeah, they're like, oh no, please don't do that to us.
I could almost physically, it's like I could feel them clicking like. If it was a status, yep. No, but when Globe went through their whole thing, and they're still going through it. It's getting better, but
Yeah.
it went through that process where that's what we're going to be going through with EDSA soon.
I
Okay.
remember when people was complaining, oh, I have no signal. What is Globe? Even if you have,
Yeah, exactly.
it's not gonna do much. you
Like, I
know?
have no load. You're on Globe. Won't make a difference, dude. You're better off smoke signals,
Oh my
Anyway,
God.
I wanted to ask you something else, but it's too late. We only have like a half a minute left in the show. But anyway, we'll save that for next week.
Oh, sorry, I wanted to ask about the asphalt.
Oh, go. Ask about the asphalt.
Okay, so they're putting asphalt over the concrete, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, does it have to be that way? Can't we just stick with the concrete? Oh, I'm only asking this because whenever I see asphalt, like in Commonwealth, in like a month's time, it's bako-bako na.
Because it's yeah.
Because it's low grade, I know. And is it really supposed to be low grade on Commonwealth? I think everywhere it's supposed to be high grade, but because of the kurakot, it always ends up freaking low grade.
That's true.
So if it's going to end up low grade and it's going to be bako-bako in a short while, why even asphalt pa?
I agree. I see where you're getting at, and we have to trust them.
And
I
then-
guess this
no, but-
time. But
but
there's
I-
so much attention on this. I don't think they really.
I really agree. I really agree on that because, okay, especially in Manila, you know, I mean, we have just only two type of weathers. You know, half of the year is hot, the other half is hotter. All right, so the asphalt you melted with heat,
Yes.
so it doesn't matter. It's gonna warm out.
It's going to erode,
Yeah, it's
right?
gonna.
And then don't forget the rainy season and
Yeah,
And the trucks.
drought, yeah.
you have crazy
Overweight
people
trucks.
doing burnouts in the
Yeah.
road and everything.
James with his stomach.
If Pacho had his way, Edsa would have track bite on it the entire way. You know what track bite is? It's what drag racers spray on the thing to give them track.
Oh, you know, last Sunday I had so much fun, but it was a little bit dangerous.
we had
for
2 minutes, 5 minutes. Ago.
other
Just
people.
Saying, just
Yeah.
saying.
Okay, we were going to church, and then we took EDSA. We passed the bridge of Cancrame. Then there was traffic there. All of a sudden, in the bridge of Cancrame, and right in front of Crame, there was a bus somewhere in the second or third lane. Stopped there, broke a gas tank.
Okay.
There was diesel fuel all over the ground.
Oh my God.
So there were some MMDA officers there
Scooping it up and
making people to slow down and everything. So when I smelled it, like, oh no, this is fuel. This is kind of dangerous because it's gonna be very slippery.
Yes.
Yeah.
Only in the Philippines.
And then when I said that one, so my wife was like, "Oh, be careful because you can maybe lose control of the car or drift." and Joshua heard that. And then Joshua, my three-year-old boy, goes, "Daddy, drift. And then pick up, rear-wheel drive. All I have to do, with a monster torque is boom. Then the car will start to go sideways, sideways. And so, oh man, it was awesome. And then,
with his family, his three-year-old.
and then, but there were some people who were panicking. They start to move at the side. So it was good because they actually gave me more room. Then after that, I just slow down and everything. Then my wife say, "Honey, be careful." And then after that, Joshua say, "Daddy, again."
Okay, we got. Oh wait, there he is. There he is. There's Pacho. Okay, there you go. All right, that's right outside Auto Plus. And what a perfect way to cap off the show. That
Now,
we have video footage of you
Sorry.
doing it.
Awesome.
Now, if they're gonna put a very high quality asphalt,
We can't drift.
no, I hope I will test it. No, sorry, just kidding. No, we'll see. But I really agree on what you said.
Diba?
I mean, if you get a very high quality concrete, it should do the job.
Yeah, why the
It should
asphalt
do the
pa?
job.
Or tiles or marble. I mean,
Something that doesn't melt.
Yeah. All right, we got to leave it there. But we hope you enjoyed the show and learned a thing or two. Don't forget, sign the petition. It really is for a good cause. Just put your name and stuff like that, and you could save the planet. And also, if you want to interact with us, we have our Counterflow page on Facebook, as well as our own personal pages as well, if you want to look for us. And we'll see you next week. We got big stories to talk about next week. We
Yeah.
thank you so much, Angel. You're always welcome. It's a permanent invitation.
Yay!
So anytime you find yourself in the area and you want to get something off your chest about the roads and traffic
About the
or
asphalt.
whatever, the asphalt, you're always welcome here. Pacho, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
All right. So till then, drive safely, everyone.
God bless.
Bye.